Good afternoon, I'm Karen Holmes Ward. Artist Simone Lee made history at the Venice Biennale in 2022 as the first Black woman to represent the United States at the world's top art festival. Now selections from Lee's landmark Venice presentation are making their U.S. premiere at Boston's Institute of Contemporary Art. And we are joined by ICA Director Jill Medvedow and ICA board member Charla Jones. They're here to tell us about it. Welcome. So
Thank
Jill, I want to start with you. Simone Lee is considered a feminist artist. Tell us about the ways her art brings visibility and adds to the narratives of women's work.
Thank you, Karen. Simone Lee, her art, powerful, larger-than-life sculptures of Black women, it really insists on the visibility of Black women and on recognizing the contributions, so often unheralded or anonymous, of Black women, both physical and intellectual, throughout her work. And that is really, I think, the essence of her feminist stance.
Now we want to get the background of how all this happened. The ICA was involved in bringing Simone Lee's work to Venice and then bringing it to Boston. Tell us about that process.
It was a rare underdog victory, I would say. The Venice Biennale is like the Olympics of the contemporary art world. That's maybe a good way to understand it. And it happens every 2 years. The Biennale was founded in 1895, and it consists of national pavilions. Different countries select artists to represent them every 2 years in Venice. And the ICA was selected to be the U.S. commissioners of our United States Pavilion with an exhibition of Simone Lee.
Quite an honor for the ICA.
And for Boston, I would say.
And for Boston. So, Charla, the ICA is led by women, inspired by women.
Yes.
The collections predominantly feature women artists.
That's true.
Is this intentional or incidental?
Wow. I think that all organizations have intentions. I think that we have been uniquely able to bring these forces together, starting with, we just celebrated Jill's 25th anniversary, and I think that with Jill's leadership from there, which started with our board, women on that board wanted to have a strong presence and to do what contemporary art can do, which is be a transformative force in Boston, and voila, here we are.
So, Jill, how does having women in leadership and curatorial positions at the ICA impact decisions there?
Women and artists of color have been noticeably absent from the canon of history and art history, and that's something that we know. And having women at the top of both the board, the organization, curatorial, has really been, I'd say, a very unified, we share a unified vision of what Simone Lee would call actually addressing the incomplete archive of art and of history. And so we have sought to address that through ensuring visibility, that anyone can see themselves on our walls or on our stage. And that has resulted in an extraordinary collection of art and a series of exhibitions and performances. And I would say some of the best art being made right now is being made by women artists and artists of color who are really tapped into the issues of our time.
So you're saying women see things in a little different way, with a little different vision?
I think women do bring a different vision to the work, both organizationally, institutionally, and artistically, yes.
Charla, we were talking about women leaders in art and at the ICA. And the ICA has a very unique partnership with Spelman College, the historically Black women's college in Atlanta. And students worked on the Venice Commission, very exciting, and here at the ICA. Tell us about the program and the great opportunity for these students.
Well, it was, we thought about the work itself, but behind all of the work is practice. And one of the practice that you see in what we do is we are very rooted in the importance of education and youth. In fact, we have award-winning programs we've developed over the years. So I love that that was a component of the proposal that we did
What
in
did
order
the
to win.
Spelman students get to do?
So what they got to do is they got to meet Simone, they got to meet Jill, they got to actually come to the ICA and go behind the scenes and get an education and exposure about what does it mean to work in the arts today? What are all of the different jobs that have to be done? So they got an in-depth education around that, but more excitedly, they were able to go, part of what we did, which I feel so proud about. They actually went to Venice and they experienced the exhibition there, but their work and their voices can be heard in the exhibition itself. So it's comprehensive. It's not a one-off. It wasn't a, like, let's just do this to check a box. It's part of our culture. It's part of how we move in the world. And it's an extension of the way that we operate. And I love that we didn't just represent Venice, or, you know, in Venice, we actually brought the ICA to Venice. We engaged students in the Venice school system. We took that programming. So there was this wonderful dialogue between the two different areas. And I think the students all around were enriched by that.
That's fabulous, because it's about getting some new people into the pipeline.
Absolutely.
Who can eventually you know, become leaders of museums like the ICA. That's the goal, right?
That's the goal.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
Jill, Simone Leigh has said that because of the historical references and representations, the primary audience for her artwork has been Black women. But how has the ICA made her work understood and appreciated by all audiences?
It hasn't been that difficult. Let me just acknowledge that up front, because the work is so powerful. It has so many, there's so much in it that every person that I have seen, and I have now walked hundreds and hundreds of people through the exhibition, young, old, black, white, male, female, and you come face to face with these larger than life figures that have references to Cycladic art, to Egyptian art, that use raffia and incredible glazes and ceramic techniques and bronze, ancient, you know, ancient materials that we all feel connected to, part of the earth. And so I do see Black women respond differently. That is evident to me. I have never seen so many eyes welled up in the museum. Never have I seen this. And I see it every day. And the same for children and teenagers who are in there. But I see the response is so much broader than that. And so Simone Leigh has succeeded over and over and over.
Spectacular. It's a stunning exhibit. Charla and Jill, thank you for being here to tell us about Simone Leigh. And the Simone Leigh exhibition will be at the ICA through September 4th. Make sure you go check it out. We'll share the link to the ICA on our website so that you can find out more.